Jake Martinez stared at his screen. Something was wrong. The green dots on his monitor showed empty space just like they had for the past 6 months. But now there was a red blip moving across the display. It was moving fast. Too fast. Jake worked. At the Silent Watch Station, a small outpost floating in the dark between star systems. His job was simple: watch for ships and report anything unusual. For 3 years he had seen nothing but empty space and the occasional cargo hauler. The TIS red blip moved closer. Jake's hands shook as he typed commands into his computer. The readings made no sense. Whatever was out there was huge, bigger than any ship in the database. It was also moving at speeds that should have been impossible. Jake pressed the emergency button. Red lights flashed throughout the station. His supervisor, Carol Hughes, ran into the room. "What is it?" she asked. "Unknown contact," Jake said. "It's big and it's fast." Carol looked at the screen. Her face went pale. "Send the alert to the Galactic Patrol, now." 3 hours later, Commander Lisa Bennett received the message aboard her patrol ship, the Star Seeker. She was a veteran officer with 15 years of service. She had seen pirates, smugglers, and rebel ships, but the readings from Silent Watch made her nervous. "Take us to intercept," she told her pilot. The Star Seeker was a good ship with a mixed crew. Her navigator was a Zephyrian named Crix 9, a tall blue alien with 4 arms and large black eyes. Her weapons officer was Vorth, an Altarian warrior who looked like a walking rock formation. Dr. Amy Carter, a human xenolinguist, sat at the communications station. Most people in the galaxy thought humans were extinct. 300 years ago, the Great Purge Wars had wiped them out. At least, that's what everyone believed. Dr. Carter was one of maybe 1,000 humans left alive, scattered across the galaxy and hiding their true nature. "Contact in visual range," Crix 9 announced. Lisa looked at the main screen and gasped. The ship floating before them was massive. It was black as space itself, with sharp angles and strange curves. It looked nothing like any ship in the galactic database. "It's beautiful," Amy whispered. "It's dangerous," Vorth growled. "Look at those weapon ports." The alien ship had dozens of openings along its hull. Each one could house weapons capable of destroying entire fleets. But what caught Lisa's attention were the markings on the ship's side. "Amy, can you read those symbols?" Lisa asked. Dr. Carter squinted at the screen. The markings were faded and worn, but she could make them out. Her heart stopped. The symbols were human writing, old human writing from before the wars. Those are English letters," Amy said quietly. "That's impossible," Lisa said. "Humans have been dead for centuries." "The markings say UES Vengeance," Amy continued. "United Earth Ship Vengeance." The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at the massive warship floating in space before them. If this was truly a human ship, it changed everything. Humans were supposed to be primitive. They had never developed faster-than-light travel. They were weak and had been easily defeated during the wars. But this ship was clearly advanced beyond anything in the galaxy. "Try to contact them," Lisa ordered. Amy opened all communication channels. "Unknown vessel. This is the Galactic Patrol. Ship Star Seeker. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." Nothing. "Unknown vessel, you have entered monitored space. Please respond." Still nothing. Then, without warning, the massive ship powered up. Energy readings spiked across all sensors. The Star Seeker's computer began screaming warnings. The unknown vessel's weapons were charging. "Shields up!" Lisa shouted. But the human ship didn't fire. Instead, it began broadcasting on all frequencies. The voice that came through the speakers was calm and clear. It spoke in perfect galactic standard. "This is Captain Roy Thompson of the United Earthship Vengeance. This sector now falls under human jurisdiction. All vessels must comply with human authority or be removed from the area." Lisa's mouth fell open. "Human jurisdiction? That's impossible." The broadcast continued. "We are not here for negotiation. We are not here for trade. We are here to reclaim what is ours. This galaxy belongs to humanity now. Vorth reached for his weapons controls, but Lisa stopped him. Wait, she said. Let's hear what they have to say. The age of alien rule is over, Captain Thompson's voice continued. Humanity has returned, and we are no longer the weak species you once knew. We have evolved. We have grown strong. We have built ships like this one, and we have many more coming. The transmission ended. The Starseeker's bridge was dead quiet. Everyone looked at each other with fear in their eyes. Should we run? Crix-9 asked. Should we fight? Vorth asked. Lisa stared at the massive human warship. It was easily 10 times the size of her patrol vessel. If it wanted to destroy them, they would already be dead. We report this to command, she said finally. The galaxy needs to know. As the Starseeker turned to leave, Amy kept staring at the human ship. She had spent her whole life hiding what she was. Now, suddenly, her people had returned. But they weren't the humans she remembered from stories. These humans were different. They were dangerous, and according to Captain Thompson, they were just the beginning. The UES Vengeance watched them go. On its bridge, Captain Thompson stood looking out at the stars. He was a tall man with gray hair and cold blue eyes. He had spent his entire life preparing for this moment. Sir, should we follow them? Asked his first officer. No, Thompson said. Let them spread the word. Let the galaxy know we're coming. Fear will make them weak, and weakness will make them easy to conquer. He turned to face his crew. They were all human, all trained from birth to be warriors. They had waited 3 centuries for this day. The day humanity would take back the galaxy. Send word to the fleet, Thompson ordered. Phase 1 is complete. Begin Phase 2. Deep in space, more ships began to move. Human ships, ships built for war, ships built to conquer. The news spread across the galaxy like fire. Within hours, every major government knew about the human ship. Emergency meetings were called on dozens of worlds. The Galactic Council prepared for the biggest crisis in 300 years. On Nexus Prime, the galaxy's capital world, Council leader Thaiska slammed his scaled fist on the meeting table. The large reptilian alien was angry and confused. This is impossible, he hissed. Humans are extinct. We made sure of that during the Purge. Wars. The evidence suggests otherwise, said Counselor Vexthalar, a being made of living crystal. Her voice rang like tiny bells. The patrol ship's sensor data is clear. That vessel is of human origin. So what? Thaiska replied. Humans were primitive. They couldn't even leave their home system without our help. One ship, no matter how big, cannot threaten the entire galaxy. Other council members nodded in agreement. They remembered the humans as weak tool users who begged for scraps of technology. The idea that humans could build advanced warships seemed laughable, but Counselor Vexthalar was not convinced. We should take this threat seriously. The ship's technology readings are beyond anything in our databases. Meanwhile, far from Nexus Prime, Captain Roy Thompson stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance. He was reading reports from his intelligence officers. The galaxy had not changed much in 300 years. The same 7 major species still controlled most of the space. The same petty wars and trade disputes kept them busy. Sir, we've intercepted their communications, reported Lieutenant Kate Williams, his tactical officer. She was a young woman with short black hair and sharp green eyes. The Galactic Council is meeting to discuss our arrival. Thompson smiled. What are they saying? They think we're a fluke, one lost ship with old technology. They're not taking us seriously. Good, Thompson said. Overconfidence will make them careless. Kate pulled up a holographic display showing the galaxy's political structure. 7 major powers controlled most of the space: the Reptilian Hegemony, the Crystalline Dominion, the Altarian War Clans, the Zephyrian Trade Federation, the Insectoid Collective, the Gas Giant Dwellers, and the silicon-based Republic. Each species has weaknesses, Kate explained. The reptilians are proud and slow to adapt. The crystallines are logical but inflexible. The Altarians are strong but predictable. We've studied them all. Thompson nodded. And what about their combined strength? Individually, none of them pose a real threat. Together they could be dangerous. But they hate each other too much to work as a team for long. The captain walked to the main view screen. Stars stretched out before them, each one representing systems that would soon belong to humanity. How long before they send a diplomatic mission? He asked. Our intelligence suggests within 48 hours, Kate replied. Back on Nexus Prime, the Council had indeed decided to send diplomats. Ambassador Zenth Moore, a tall gray alien with large black eyes, was chosen to lead the mission. He would take 3 heavy cruisers as protection, just in case the humans proved hostile. Offer them standard terms, Thaiska instructed. Trade rights, a small territory, maybe a seat on the Minor Species Council. That should satisfy them. Zenthmore was not so sure. He had read the sensor reports carefully. The human ship's energy output was enormous. Its hull composition was unknown. Its weapons were completely new. This did not sound like primitive technology, but he followed orders. 2 days later, his small fleet approached the human vessel. The 3 Galactic Council cruisers were impressive, ships, each one capable of destroying a small moon. Next to the UES Vengeance, they looked like toys. Human vessel, this is Ambassador Zenthmore of the Galactic Council, he broadcast. We come in peace to discuss your return to galactic society. Captain Thompson received the message with amusement. His bridge crew watched the alien ships approach with professional interest. They brought warships to a peace talk, observed Commander Steve Davis, Thompson's executive officer. How diplomatic. Should we destroy them, sir? Asked Lieutenant Colonel Dan Miller, the ship's Marine commander. Not yet, Thompson replied. Let's see what they have to offer first. He opened a channel to the alien fleet. Ambassador, you are welcome to come aboard and present your terms. An hour later, Zenthmore and his guards stood in the UES Vengeance's conference room. The human ship's interior was clean and efficient. Everything was designed for war, from the reinforced walls to the weapon storage lockers built into every corridor. Captain Thompson entered with his senior staff. The aliens were surprised by how normal the humans looked. They seemed just like the humans from 3 centuries ago, except for their eyes. These humans had cold, calculating eyes that missed nothing. Ambassador, Thompson said politely, what does the Galactic Council offer humanity? Zenthmore had prepared a generous speech about trade partnerships and mutual cooperation. He offered the humans' mining rights in 3 star systems, trading posts in major spaceports, and eventual membership in the Council's Junior Assembly. Thompson listened without expression. When the ambassador finished, the human captain stood and walked to a large view screen. It showed the galaxy with all major territories marked in different colors. You offer us 3 systems, Thompson said calmly, out of 50,000 inhabited worlds. It's a very generous starting offer, Zenthmore replied. As you prove yourselves peaceful and cooperative, more opportunities will become available. Thompson turned to face the alien delegation. His smile was not friendly. Ambassador, I think. You misunderstand our position. We are not here to beg for scraps from your table. We are here to claim what belongs to us. And what exactly do you think belongs to you? Zenthmore asked. Everything. The word hung in the air like a threat. The alien guards reached for their weapons, but Thompson's Marines were faster. In seconds, the delegation was surrounded by armed humans. Consider this a demonstration, Thompson said. He pressed a button on his command chair. All ships, target the asteroid field at coordinates 77 Alpha. The UES Vengeance's weapons powered up. Energy readings spiked beyond anything the aliens had ever seen. Beams of pure destruction lanced out from the human ship, striking a nearby asteroid field. The asteroids didn't just explode. They were completely vaporized, turned into glowing gas that dispersed into space. The alien ship's sensors went crazy, trying to analyze the weapon's energy signature. "Our technology has advanced considerably since you last saw us," Thompson explained. "This ship alone could destroy your entire fleet without taking damage. And this ship is just the beginning." Zenthmore stared at the empty space where the asteroids had been. "How many ships do you have?" "Enough," Thompson replied. "More than enough." He gestured to his communications officer, who opened all galactic frequencies. Thompson's voice would now be heard on every major world in the galaxy. "People of the galaxy, this is Captain Roy Thompson of the United Earth Fleet. Humanity has returned, and we are no longer the weak species you once knew. We claim dominion over this entire galaxy. You have one choice: submit to human authority or face the consequences of resistance." The transmission ended. Zenthmore and his guards were escorted back to their ships. As the alien fleet limped away, Thompson watched them go with satisfaction. "Sir, do you think they'll surrender?" Kate asked. "Some will," Thompson replied. "The smart ones. The rest will fight. And then," Thompson's smile was cold as space itself, "then we'll show them why humanity was born to conquer the stars." Ambassador Zenthmore and his guards were not allowed to leave immediately. Captain Thompson had decided they needed to understand exactly what humanity had become. The aliens were given quarters aboard the UES Vengeance and told they would be released after a cultural exchange. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's chief science officer, was assigned to give them a tour. She was a middle-aged woman with gray streaks in her brown hair and kind eyes that hid a brilliant mind. For 3 centuries, she and thousands of other human scientists had worked on one goal: making humanity the strongest force in the galaxy. "You seem confused about our technology," Elena said as she led the aliens through the ship's corridors. "That's understandable. The last time you saw humans, we were using primitive rockets and basic computers." Zenthmore walked beside her, his guards following nervously. "How did you advance so quickly? 300 years is nothing in terms of technological development," Elena smiled. 300 years of total focus on a single goal can accomplish miracles. While you believed we were extinct, we were actually working." She led them to the ship's main laboratory. The room was filled with devices the aliens didn't recognize. Screens showed complex equations and weapon designs. Robotic arms moved with perfect precision, building components from raw materials. "We didn't waste time on art or philosophy or entertainment," Elena explained. "Every human child was educated in science, engineering, or warfare. Every adult dedicated their life to making us stronger." She showed them a small cube made of unknown metal. "This is quantum-phased matter. It exists in multiple dimensions at once. Weapons made from this material can bypass any known shielding." Technology. The cube seemed to shimmer and fade, as if it wasn't quite real. Zenthmore reached out to touch it, but his hand passed right through. "Your shields work by deflecting energy and matter," Elena continued. "But quantum-phased weapons exist partially outside normal space. They can hit targets that conventional weapons cannot." Next, she showed them the ship's artificial intelligence system. The main computer was unlike anything the aliens had seen. Instead of simple programmed responses, it seemed to think and learn. "Meet ARIA, Adaptive Response Intelligence Array," Elena said. "She studies enemy tactics in real time and develops countermeasures instantly." A holographic woman appeared beside them. She looked completely human, with long blonde hair and blue eyes. When she spoke, her voice was pleasant, but somehow unsettling. "Hello, Ambassador," Arya said. "I have been analyzing your ship's communication logs. You have 17 different battle formations in your tactical database. I have already developed ways to defeat all of them." Zenthmore stepped backward. That's impossible. Our tactical data is encrypted. I broke your encryption in 3.7 seconds, Arya replied. Your mathematics are quite primitive. Elena gestured for them to continue the tour. Every human ship has an area system. They share information instantly across the entire fleet. When one ship learns something, they all learn it. They entered the weapons bay, where Commander Steve Davis was waiting. He was Thompson's second-in-command, a tall man with scars on his face and cold gray eyes. He had spent his entire adult life preparing for war against alien species. These are our main armaments, Steve explained, showing them a massive cannon. Quantum phase plasma accelerators. They fire concentrated energy that exists in 7 dimensions simultaneously. The weapon was beautiful and terrifying. It hummed with barely contained power. The aliens could feel the energy radiating from it even when it was turned off. How much damage can it do? One of the guards asked. One shot can crack a planet's crust, Steve replied casually. Full power can destroy a moon. But surely you don't have many of these weapons, Zenthmore said hopefully. Steve smiled. This ship has 47 of them. Our dreadnoughts have over 200. The tour continued to the Marine barracks, where Lieutenant Colonel Dan Miller was training with his soldiers. Dan was a huge man with muscles like steel cables and reflexes faster than any alien warrior. He had been bred and trained from birth to be the perfect fighting machine. Would you like a demonstration? Dan asked the aliens. Before they could answer, he moved. His speed was incredible, faster than their eyes could follow. In seconds, he had disarmed all 4 guards and pinned them to the floor. They hadn't even seen him coming. Human reaction time has been enhanced through genetic modification and cybernetic implants, Elena explained as Dan helped the embarrassed guards to their feet. Our soldiers think and move 3 times faster than baseline humans. But you're still just humans, Zenthmore protested. You're not that different from your ancestors, Dan laughed. Would you like to test that theory? I'll fight your best warrior, hand to hand. The largest guard, a massive Altarian named Gorth 7, stepped forward. Altarians were famous throughout the galaxy as the finest warriors. They were stronger than any other species, with natural armor plating and razor-sharp claws. The fight lasted exactly 7 seconds. Dan moved like liquid lightning, striking pressure points the Altarian didn't know existed. Gorth 7 collapsed, unconscious, but unharmed. Enhanced reflexes, cybernetic muscle fibers, and 300 years of combat training, Dan explained. Plus, we know every weakness of every alien species in the galaxy. Elena led them to the ship's manufacturing section. Automated factories. We're building new weapons, armor, and ship components. Raw materials went in one end, finished products came out the other. We don't need supply lines or manufacturing worlds, she said. Every ship is self-sufficient. We can repair battle damage in hours and build new equipment as needed. Robotic workers moved with perfect coordination. They never got tired, never made mistakes, and worked 24 hours a day. The production rate was staggering. How many ships do you have? Zenthmore asked quietly. Elena's smile was mysterious. Enough. Captain Thompson joined them for the final part of the tour. He brought them to the bridge where they could see the ship's full capabilities in action. The most important thing you need to understand, Thompson said, is that this isn't just about technology. We didn't just build better weapons, we built a better humanity. He showed them a holographic display of human space. Hundreds of hidden worlds were marked with green dots. Each one supported millions of humans, all working toward the same goal. For 3 centuries, every human has known their purpose, Thompson explained. We are the rightful rulers of this galaxy. Every child learns this from birth. Every adult dedicates their life to making it happen. Your species fight each other over trade routes and mining rights, Commander Davis added. You waste energy on petty conflicts. We have never fought among ourselves. Every human works for the greater good of our species. Thompson walked to the main view screen, which showed the stars beyond. We spent 300 years studying you. We know your weaknesses, your fears, your military tactics. We know which species will surrender immediately and which will fight to the end. And we know that none of you can stand against us, Elena added. Not individually and not together. Arya appeared beside them again. Probability calculations show a 97% chance of total human victory within 2 years. The remaining 3% accounts for unexpected variables, which are unlikely given our preparation. Zenthmore felt cold fear spreading through his body. What do you want from us? Surrender, Thompson said simply. Complete and unconditional surrender. Accept human rule, and your people will be treated well. Fight us, and your species will be eliminated. You're talking about enslaving the entire galaxy. We're talking about bringing order to the galaxy, Thompson corrected. Under human leadership, there will be no more wars between species, no more poverty or suffering. Everyone will have their place in our new society. What about freedom? Thompson's laugh was cold. Freedom to do what? Fight pointless wars, pollute your worlds, waste resources on luxury goods while others starve? We offer something better than freedom. We offer peace, prosperity, and purpose. Elena nodded. Every species will contribute their strengths to human society. The Altarians will serve as our ground forces. The Crystallines will handle our computer systems. The Zephyrians will manage our trade networks. Everyone will have a role to play. And what if we refuse? Thompson gestured to the weapons displays around them. Then you'll join the species that no longer exist. The tour was over. As the aliens were escorted back to their quarters, Thompson turned to his officers. Send the signal, he ordered. Begin Phase 3. Across the galaxy, more human ships began to move. The UES Vengeance had been just the beginning. Now the real fleet was on its way, carrying weapons and warriors that would reshape the galaxy forever. The age of alien rule was ending. The age of humanity was about to begin. The message from Ambassador Zenthmore reached Nexus Prime 12 hours after his release from the human ship. The alien diplomat's report sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council. For the first time in 300 years, every major species agreed they faced a common threat. Council leader Thais Ka read the report 3 times before accepting its contents. The humans were not primitive survivors. They were a military force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. This cannot be accurate, he hissed, his scales rattling with anger. One species cannot develop such advanced technology in isolation. Counselor Vex Thalar, the crystalline being, projected holographic images from the ambassador's scanner readings. The evidence is undeniable. Their weapons exceed our best technology by several orders of magnitude. Fleet Admiral Corks 9 of the Insectoid. Collective clicked his mandibles nervously. My swarm ships number in the thousands. Surely quantity can overcome their quality. Did you read the tactical analysis? Vex Thalar asked. Their artificial intelligence systems can predict and counter our strategies in real time. Numbers won't help if they know our every move before we make it. General Vorth Prime of the Altarian war clans slammed his rocky fist on the table. Then we don't use tactics. We overwhelm them with brute force. But even the proud Altarian sounded uncertain. His greatest warrior had been defeated in 7 seconds by a single human soldier. The debate continued for hours before Counselor Vex Thalar made the proposal that changed everything. We must form a grand alliance, she announced. Every major, species, every minor power, every independent world. We combine our fleets into one massive armada. The idea was revolutionary. The 7 major species had been enemies for millennia. They had never cooperated on anything more complex than trade agreements. But fear made them practical. Within 72 hours, the largest military alliance in galactic history was formed. Fleet Admiral Vex Thalar was chosen as Supreme Commander, commanding over 2,000 warships from all 7 major powers. The reptilian hegemony contributed 400 heavy cruisers and battleships. The crystalline dominion provided 300 advanced technology vessels. The Altarian war clans sent 350 assault ships and troop transports. The Zephyrian Trade Federation offered 250 fast attack craft. The Insectoid Collective deployed 500 swarm fighters. The gas giant dwellers contributed 150 massive dreadnoughts. The Silicon-based Republic added 200 mining ships converted to warships. It was the most powerful fleet ever assembled. Every ship was crewed by experienced warriors. Every weapon was charged and ready. Every commander knew they were fighting for the survival of their species. Meanwhile, Captain Thompson watched their preparations with amusement. Human spy networks had infiltrated every major government decades ago. He knew about the Alliance fleet before its commanders did. "Sir, enemy forces are gathering at Kepler Station," reported Lieutenant Kate Williams. "Our intelligence indicates over 2,000 vessels." Thompson studied the tactical display. The alien fleet was impressive by galactic standards. Under normal circumstances, it could conquer half the galaxy, but these were not normal circumstances. "Signal the fleet," Thompson ordered. "All ships converge on the Kepler Nebula." From hidden bases beyond the galactic rim, the true human fleet began to move. The UES Vengeance had been just a scout ship. Now the real armada was coming. Captain Helen Foster commanded the UES Retribution, a massive dreadnought bristling with quantum phase weapons. She was a veteran of the human colonial wars, conflicts that had raged between human worlds for decades as they prepared for this moment. Captain Rick Turner led the UES Dominion, a carrier ship launching squadrons of unmanned fighters controlled by advanced AI. Each fighter was smarter and faster than any alien pilot. Captain Linda Hayes commanded the UES Supremacy, a battleship designed specifically to break enemy formations. Her ship could punch through the thickest armor and shields. In total, 500 human vessels moved toward the Kepler Nebula. They were outnumbered 4-1, but every human commander was confident in victory. They had trained their entire lives for this battle. The two fleets met in the swirling gases of the Kepler Nebula, chosen for its strategic importance as a major trade route. The nebula's energy fields would interfere with long-range sensors, forcing both sides to fight at close range. Fleet Admiral Vex Thalar deployed her forces in the traditional galaxy-spanning formation. Heavy ships in the center, fast attack craft on the flanks, support vessels in the rear. It was a formation that had won battles for thousands of years. The human fleet arranged itself differently. Instead of one large formation, they split into smaller groups that moved independently. Each group was commanded by a different captain, but all were coordinated by ARIA systems that shared information instantly. "All ships, engage the enemy," Vex Thalar commanded. The alien fleet attacked. With overwhelming firepower, thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked through space toward the human ships. It was a beautiful and terrible sight, like a storm of deadly light. The humans responded with precision rather than power. Their quantum phase weapons bypassed alien shields entirely, striking hull armor directly. Enemy ships began exploding. Before their commanders understood what was happening, Captain Foster's dreadnought smashed through the alien center, her weapons vaporizing everything in her path. The massive ship moved like a dancer, avoiding enemy fire while dealing devastating damage. "Their shields aren't working," reported her tactical officer, Commander Bill Parker. "Our weapons are going right through." "As expected," Foster replied. "Continue the attack." On the flanks, Captain Turner's fighters swarmed around alien vessels like angry insects. The AI-controlled craft moved with perfect coordination, striking weak points and retreating before the enemy could respond. But the real shock came from Captain Hayes and the UES Supremacy. Her ship didn't just fight the enemy ships, it broke their will to fight. Her psychological warfare specialists broadcast terrifying images and sounds that drove alien crews to panic. "Enemy formation is collapsing," reported the human intelligence officer. "Multiple ships are fleeing the battlefield." The Alien Alliance had never faced warfare like this. Human ships seemed to know their every move before they made it. Human weapons ignored their defenses. Human tactics were unlike anything in their military databases. Fleet Admiral Vex Thalar tried to rally her forces. All ships, reform around. The command vessel. Concentrate fire on their flagship. But the humans had no flagship. Every ship was equally dangerous. Every captain was equally skilled. The alien commanders couldn't figure out who to target first. The battle raged for 6 hours. Human ships danced through the nebula like predators hunting prey. They struck where the enemy was weakest and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. Captain Thompson, commanding from the bridge of the UES Vengeance, watched the battle with professional interest. This was humanity's first major test against organized alien resistance. So far, the results exceeded his expectations. Enemy casualties? He asked. 60% of their fleet destroyed or disabled, Kate reported. Our losses are minimal. Time to end this, Thompson decided. All ships, execute Formation Omega. The remaining human vessels suddenly changed tactics. Instead of hit-and-run attacks, they formed a massive spearhead aimed directly at the alien command ship. It was a bold move that would either win the BSA battle or destroy the human fleet. Fleet Admiral Vex Thalar saw them coming. All remaining ships, protect the command vessel. But it was too late. The human spearhead smashed through the alien defenses like a sword through paper. Captain Hayes led the charge, her ship absorbing enemy fire while dealing massive damage in return. The UES Supremacy reached the alien flagship and fired everything she had. Quantum phase weapons tore through crystalline armor like it was tissue, paper. The massive alien command ship broke apart in a brilliant explosion. With their leader dead and their fleet shattered, the remaining alien ships began to surrender. Some tried to flee, but human fighters hunted them down one by one. When the battle ended, less than 400 alien ships remained out of the original 2,000. The humans had lost only 23 vessels, and most of those were damaged rather than destroyed. Captain. Thompson opened communications to the surviving alien commanders. His image appeared on their screens, calm and confident despite the carnage around him. "This is your only warning," he said. "Surrender now, and your crews will be treated with dignity. Continue to resist, and your species will share the fate of your flagship." One by one, the alien ships powered down their weapons. The Grand Alliance, the greatest military force in galactic history, had been defeated in a single battle. But Thompson knew this was just the beginning. Some species would surrender immediately when they heard about Kepler, others would fight to the end. Either way, humanity would be ready. "Signal the occupation fleets," he ordered. "Begin Phase 4. Across the galaxy, human ships moved toward major alien worlds. The conquest of the galaxy had begun in earnest, and nothing in the universe could stop it now. News of the Battle of Kepler Nebula spread across the galaxy faster than the speed of light. Within days, every inhabited world knew that the great alien alliance had been crushed by a human fleet half its size. The reaction was immediate and predictable. Panic. On the reptilian homeworld of Scalus Prime, Council Leader Thys Kaw stared at the battle reports in disbelief. 80% of his fleet was gone. His greatest admirals were dead or captured. The humans were already approaching. "His system's outer defenses. What are your orders, Supreme Leader?" asked his aide, a young reptilian named Kosval. Thys Kaw closed his eyes. Pride warred with survival instinct in his mind. His people had ruled their sector of space for over 2,000 years. They had never bowed to anyone, but they had never faced anything like humanity. "Send a message to the human fleet," he said finally. "Scalus Prime surrenders unconditionally." Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Trade Federation surrendered before human ships even reached their space. The Silicon-based Republic offered their manufacturing capabilities in exchange for peaceful occupation. The gas giant dwellers simply vanished into the deep atmospheres of their worlds, hoping to avoid contact entirely. Only the Altarian War. Clans chose to fight. General Vorth Prime gathered the survivors of his fleet and made a desperate last stand at the fortress world of Altari 7. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it ended, the proud warrior race had ceased to exist as an independent power. Captain Thompson watched these surrenders from the bridge of his new flagship, the UES Emperor. The massive command ship was twice the size of the Vengeance, with facilities for governing an entire galaxy. It had been built in secret over 50 years, waiting for this moment. "Sir, we've received surrender messages from 47 major worlds," reported his new aide, Lieutenant Susan Walsh. "Another 63 minor systems have also capitulated." Thompson nodded with satisfaction. "And the holdouts? 17 systems are still offering resistance. Intelligence estimates they'll all fall within the month." The captain walked to the great view screen that dominated the Emperor's bridge. It showed a real-time map of the galaxy with human-controlled systems marked in blue. More and more worlds. "Turned blue every hour. Signal all fleet commanders," Thompson ordered. "Begin Phase 5, reorganization." The final phase of humanity's plan was the most complex. It wasn't enough to conquer the galaxy. They had to rebuild it according to human principles. Captain Helen Foster was appointed military governor of the core worlds, responsible for maintaining order in the galaxy's most important systems. Her fleet of dreadnoughts became the backbone of human authority. Captain Rick Turner became director of colonial affairs, overseeing the integration of alien populations into human society. His carriers transported administrators and engineers to every conquered world. Captain Linda Hayes was named Supreme Justice, responsible for creating and enforcing the new legal system. Her psychological warfare specialists became the foundation of human intelligence services. Dr. Elena Rodriguez left her science post to become Director of Technological Integration. Her job was to study alien technologies and decide which ones were useful to humanity. But the most important appointment went to Dr. Amy Carter, the xenolinguist who had first identified the human markings on the UES Vengeance. She became Director of Interspecies Relations, responsible for helping alien populations adapt to their new reality. Amy's first task was addressing the Galaxy Congress, a gathering of representatives from every conquered species. The meeting was held aboard the UES Emperor in a vast auditorium designed to hold thousands of beings. "Citizens of the human galactic empire," Amy began, her voice carried to every corner of the room. "I know this transition is difficult. Your old governments are gone. Your independence is ended. But you are not slaves. You are subjects of humanity, and that comes with both obligations and protections." The audience was silent. Representatives of dozens of species sat in rows, their faces showing mixtures of fear, anger, and resignation. "Each species will contribute to our new society according to their strengths," Amy continued. "The reptilians will serve in our administrative corps, using their attention to detail. The crystallines will manage our computer networks with their logical thinking. The remaining Altarians will join our military as honor guards." A Zephyrian representative raised one of his 4 arms. "What about our merchant fleets, our trade networks?" "They will continue to operate under human oversight," Amy replied, "but now they will serve the needs of the entire galaxy, not just your own profit margins." "And if we refuse to cooperate?" asked a Silicon-based delegate. Amy's smile was pleasant, but cold. "Then you will be removed from positions of responsibility and replaced by beings who understand the value of cooperation." The message was clear. Comply or be eliminated. Over the following months, the human galactic empire took shape. Earth was declared the capital world, though it remained a closely guarded secret. Most aliens never learned where humanity had originally come from. New cities were built on conquered worlds, designed according to human architectural principles. Alien populations were relocated to maximize efficiency and minimize the chance of rebellion. Children of all species were educated together in schools that taught human values and history. Captain Thompson established his court aboard the UES Emperor, which traveled constantly throughout the galaxy. His presence reminded everyone that human power could appear anywhere at any time. The old Galactic Council building on Nexus Prime was converted into the Museum of Alien Rule, displaying artifacts from the primitive era when multiple species had wastefully competed for resources. But the most dramatic change was in the galaxy's mindset. For thousands of years, different species had seen themselves as separate, distinct peoples. Now they were all subjects of humanity, united under human leadership. Trade disputes ended because all trade served human interests. Border conflicts stopped because there were no more borders, only human administrative districts. Poverty decreased because human efficiency eliminated waste and corruption. Some aliens grumbled about lost freedom, but their children grew up thinking of themselves as citizens of the human empire. They learned human languages, studied human history, and dreamed of serving humanity faithfully. Dr. Amy Carter often walked through the alien quarters of human cities, observing how different species adapted to their new lives. Most seemed content, even happy. They had stable jobs, safe homes, and a clear purpose in life. "Do you think we did the right thing?" she asked Captain Thompson during one of their regular meetings. Thompson looked out at the stars through his office window. Each point of light represented a world under human control, billions of beings living according to human law. "Look at the galaxy now," he said. "No wars between species. No starvation on advanced worlds while others waste resources. No pointless conflicts over trade routes or mining rights. We brought order to chaos. But we also ended their independence." Independence to do what? Fight each other? Pollute their worlds? Waste their potential on petty squabbles? We gave them something better than independence. We gave them purpose. Amy nodded, though she still sometimes wondered about the aliens who remembered the old days. But those beings were growing old and dying. Their children knew only the human empire, and they seemed genuinely happy to be part of it. 5 years after the Battle of Kepler Nebula, Captain Thompson stood on the observation deck of the UES Emperor and looked out at the galaxy he now ruled. Every star system flew human flags. Every world followed human law. Every citizen, regardless of species, worked toward human goals. The transformation was complete. Humanity had not just conquered the galaxy, they had remade it in their own image. "Sir, we're receiving reports from the deep space monitoring stations," Lieutenant Walsh reported. "Long-range sensors are detecting unknown signals from beyond the galactic rim." Thompson smiled. The signals could only mean one thing: other galaxies, other species, other challenges to overcome. "Prepare the exploration fleets," he ordered. "It seems our work is not yet finished." The human empire had conquered one galaxy. Soon it would be time to conquer another. Behind them, the stars shone peacefully in the darkness. Each one was a reminder of humanity's greatest achievement. They had taken a chaotic, divided galaxy and turned it into a unified empire under human rule. The unknown warship that had been detected in deep space 5 years ago was no longer unknown. It was the herald of humanity's destiny, and that destiny was to rule not just their galaxy, but every galaxy they could reach. The age of alien independence was over forever. The age of humanity had just begun.